Love this. I have the wonderful privilege of bringing some thoughts, some reflections that I've made over the years. Some of them have been really journeyed, and some are more recent revelations. And a lot of what I'm sharing, I'm going to talk about worship, is really still evolving, and God it's never finished, is it? God still shows me things, which is amazing. So that's the plan. It's going to be hopefully maybe a 2-part teaching. Today I want to explore a little bit about worship, as I'm going to focus on musical worship, and I'll try to remember to always define what that's what I mean. But actually some of it applies to worship as just is a lifestyle, isn't it? Today I want to focus on worship as a sacrifice and then worship as a garment. So hopefully we'll cover these two areas, and just want to caveat everything. The worship is one of the key messaging of our faith, of our relationship with God. And I know I don't have to say this, but forgive me, it's my first time. I won't cover everything, right? This is too big a thought. So I'll just share what's real to me, what God's speaking to me. There could be so much more to be said, and yes, please add your own heart and your own message into this. And my prayer is just that there'll be something for you to take away, just like God has blessed me through a lot of these revelations. I pray that there'll be something for you as well to take away. Wonderful. This is because, final caveat, I truly, fully am convinced and believe that God has just a heart for a deeper connection with us CLC, in worship with Him and in musical worship. And I've felt it strongly for months, and I feel it for my life. And this is just one way that I feel like we can maybe take a step forward in that. So we're going to start in Romans 12, and we got that on the screen, I think, which says, "Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship." That last sentence in the Amplified version says, it's got different terminology. It says, which is rational, logical, intelligent act of worship. I love that. I don't fully know what that means, but it means something about it just makes sense. That's how we're built. It's the default that we would worship God. I just love that, but I can't expand on that, so maybe that's for someone else to expand. The first time I across this verse, actually, when my dad wrote a song about it. He was a fairly prolific songwriter when I was a teenager. He wrote a song about it, and just a little cue here. That is probably how I discovered a lot of the Bible, through songs. I don't know if that's the best way. But my dad wrote a song about it, and that's the first recollection I have of this verse, this concept of worship and sacrifice being somehow linked. And I didn't really know what it meant, and it took me a long time to begin that process of understanding. Maybe at 13, when I joined a worship band, I began to understand what that meant a little bit. But what is a sacrifice? So I'm going to stay on this word for a little bit. What does sacrifice mean? The first time the word worship, I have discovered, features in the Bible is in Genesis 22 with Abraham and Isaac, and that story, which is, now that I'm a mom, is like, oh, you were asked to do what? We know how the story ends. Isaac doesn't end up being sacrificed, but I cannot imagine a greater, I can, Jesus, but just close by a greater request for sacrifice. But that was the word worship being used in that sense of sacrifice. So we all have, so that's the Bible, but we all have in our experience a meaning, an understanding of the concept of sacrifice. And we can imagine that since being a mom, that for me has become it's just changed, has become greater. And I can think about my own mom and dad, all the sacrifice looked like, for example, just ferrying me from hobby to hobby and just driving for hours, waiting in the car or waiting somewhere for me to do the class, the lesson, whatever it might be. And I didn't end up a dancer, so don't know what to say about all those years spent waiting for dance classes. Sorry. You sometimes have to try a thing, and then something works out, something doesn't. But that's been a sense, and obviously the financial cost of all those as well. I have a definition that I found really fitting for this, that comes well on the screen. Sacrifice is the act of giving up something valuable for something else considered more important or more valuable. I just love this, and this really opened up a bit of a world for me, because he explained to me that the concept of sacrifice is two really key elements that are really interlinked. there are two things that are considered valuable. The first thing is this thing that is considered really valuable to us, but they were willing to sacrifice. So for Abraham, that was Isaac. And just want to say here, for us, that is probably temporary sacrifice. God is so gentle and so generous and kind. And for example, what is that thing that is really valuable but is willing to sacrifice? So the verse in Romans would suggest that is our bodies. God says, offer your bodies, give your bodies. So in a physical sense, that would be physical body. And in the context of, let's go back to musical worship, that would be we stand up if we can, we might lift our hands, we might sing, use our vocal cords, use our heads, our body, right? A layer deeper, that is things like our mind, our soul, our heart, our emotions. And a layer deeper, the thing that is really, really valuable to us that we might struggle the most to give is our thoughts, our attention, our time. And what is the other element of a sacrifice? It's the thing that we're sacrificing the valuable thing for, right? So it's something that we're saying you are worthy of this sacrifice. And that is God. Do we all agree? That's God. Abraham must have really loved God to be willing to sacrifice Isaac. There is it's not the best word, but there's a little bit of a hierarchy there. We're saying we're going to offer you the thing that is really valuable to us because we see that you are the most valuable, the most worthy. And another example that comes to mind is for God so loved the world that he gave his only son. So that there is a sense of like, he so loved us. That was top for him that he gave his son. So what kind of God spoke to me in this was, you need to really love me first in order to be willing to give something that's really valuable. We know there's a fight for our attention. We hear it often on a Sunday. It's a fight for our mind, for our emotions, for our time. If we're not fully, utterly, completely fixated, abandoned, in love, obsessed with God, then we're just simply not going to give up something that is really valuable. We might give up a little thing, but we might not be able to give up our mind, our attention. All of those things are so important to us. If you came to me and asked me, Ellie, I really need your help. I need you to give up a couple of days of work a week. So yeah, sorry, income's going to go down. You're going to need to find some more childcare for Leo, so pay for that. I really need your time 2 days a week to look after my dog. There's no chance. Absolutely no chance. Maybe a cat. Maybe not. Not a cat, no. Absolutely no chance, sorry. As much as I'm sure there's loads of dog lovers, dog-loving families, but there's just no chance I would do that. You're asking something that just doesn't make sense. The hierarchy, the dog is right at the bottom for me, and my time, my finances, my child, just not going to work. So this just to paint the picture that the order needs to be right for us to be willing to give something really, really valuable. And I guess why... No, hang on. Let's not go. Where am I going? So yes, why does God ask for that sacrifice? Abram really, really loved God. God so loved the world. It is ultimately because he wants the chance to love us and to be with us and to be in his presence fully and so completely. And I know that sacrifice comes at a cost for us. But God is saying, and I love this bit, this speaks to me, because he's like, just trust me. Trust me. Give up that thing, because when you're in true connection with me, everything you need is given to you anyway. Every need is met, every cup is filled, every void is filled by his presence. And we might know sometimes, like, remember that. But he's saying, just trust me on this. Give up all of the things, sacrifice them, lay it down, lay it at my feet. That's the best place. And trust me that as you do that, I'm able to fill and fulfill and love you. And then in that love, you find yourself and you know who you are. And I just love it's this sense of like, he just wants to be in connection. There's that verse in John 15, remain in me as I remain in you. And then the promise and the picture of the vine, which is so beautiful, is that if you're not connected, there's no life flowing. And this like, abide, remain, just stay with me. But we can't stay our minds elsewhere because our bodies is the least of them all. Really. It's a heart and mind that he really wants. He doesn't want it, he wants all of it. He just wants all of it. Wants all of ourselves, all of mind, all of our heart, all of our soul. And then it's the cycle. The more I seek you, the more I find you. The more I find you, the more I love you. And then we just want to be with him because we're like, oh yes, but if I just lay down everything, I can be with my Father, and that's where I'm fully met and fully known. So sacrifice is really this posture, this intention, this position of a heart. It's not just singing a song, although that really helps. And actually, next time I'd love to talk a bit about just why God is so kind and has given us music and lyrics and songs. And we'll go into that, like the art side of musical worship. It's not just lifting our arms. It's not just swaying, although I love a sway. It's not just that. He just wants everything, because he wants everything, because that's our way of telling him we see you as the most valuable of them all. So for me, and this is the bit that God has really spoken over many years, there is really an importance to Sunday morning, I believe. I think God has made some things a little bit easier for us. We are creatures of habit. And there's something about Sunday morning, which is why when it's the afternoon, we're like, oh, God, forget in the afternoon. There is something about that regularity, that togetherness, that sense that we don't have to really think about it. We just turn up. We just turn up and we're here, and then the music starts to play. And I know we can fall into a pattern, but I think we're learning to call it ritual, which we've heard a few Sundays ago from Anka, and we've heard it before. It's this sense of God just making it regular, a regular thing. And I think there's a power in that, and that sense of God wanting to connect in a more deep way is for Sunday mornings. So one thing that God has just spoken to me over so many years is, when you're at church on a Sunday morning, whenever it might be, when the music starts to play, when someone starts to sing, no matter what song's been picked, because we have our preferences, and we'll go into that next time, hopefully. We have our preferences. We like certain things. We like that we know a song. We like when we don't know a song. We have it's just how we're made. But God's been saying to me, that is the appointed time I've designated for you to worship me. And it's because I love you, and I want to show you that I love you, but I need you to give me your attention. So it's almost as if it's been like an alarm bell every time music starts, and God's like, now. It is now that I'm asking you to do this, because I want to make it easy for you. And if you don't do it every Sunday, then you're not going to do it on Monday to Saturday. And this sense that God wants to build a habit, build a consistent habit for us to engage with him, because the more we seek him, the more we find him. The more we find him, the more we love him. And when we love him, then we find it easier to give up and sacrifice all those other things so that we can be in connection with him, and then he can love us and fully meet us in whatever we need. And when we are in that place of true, beautiful connection in worship, and I know it's hard, and you see me run around with Leo, I know it's hard, and I believe the parents have it like separate, I don't know, place in heaven, I don't know. Sacrifice looks different, so I hear me, I understand that. But when we manage to, even if it's for a glimpse, for a moment, God can just fill us in a moment. When we're able to find that place, then worship spills out, and it becomes this overflowing. We don't have to think about it. And just to paint a picture, a few years back, I wrote a song, very short one. I'm not going to sing it. I'm just going to read you the lyrics, because it kind of portrays it. It just says, I think it's on the side. I know I don't have much to give, but awe and wonder spill from my lips. Oh my God, you're so worthy of this. Oh, it's yours. It's God somewhere, this holy weight I feel. Remind me what I used to do when I knew that this was real. Meet me in the garden I'd go when I was young, because I want to hear the stories and I want to sing that song. So the encouragement for this is really to not miss the moment. Like I said, Sunday mornings, I believe, are appointed times, are holy times, and there's a holy weight of God wants to do something, and he needs our full attention. Unfortunately, he's not happy with a little bit. He wants all of it. He wants all of us. He wants all of it. So let's protect that time. Let's protect the Sunday morning. And then I just want to kind of add to this with my second thought, which is which hopefully just connects, which is worship as a garment. And I want to lean on this wonderful passage, a chunk of that actually from Isaiah 61. Sorry, it starts with a sentence. It says, and provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. And I love this. There's often in the Bible items called the mentioned, which is just a really helpful picture. We just see it, something that we do every day. We got the hem of Jesus garment. We have just technicolor drip coat. We have the armor of God. All things we're putting on, and then here praise listed as an item of clothing that we can wear. And you have to just be with me on this analogy for a few minutes. If we can wear it, it means that it's not automatically on us. So it means praise is not equal to our skin or our hair. This thing that just kind of stays on us, is on us. But it's something that you have to put on, which is an intention, an action. It requires us being proactive. it's like, put on a coat or a jumper. And if you can put it on, it means that it is not, that it's something that we can choose to not wear as well. It can just stay in our wardrobe or in our floor job, collecting dust and all sorts of disgusting things as well. And we can just choose to not wear it. But the other thing I love about putting on item of clothing is that you probably put on a coat or a t-shirt or a jumper always in the same way. And you will have your way. You don't have to think about it. Hang on a minute. I do the arm. You just go for it. You might do arm, head, arm, whichever way you do. There'll be a natural way of putting on an item of clothing that you wear all the time. But a pair of skis, how do you put? I haven't got a clue. I did it once, and I don't really intend to do it again, to be honest. It was a nightmare experience at wherever the place where you do it fake down is. You probably don't wear a pair of skis very often, right? Probably not every week, month, or year even. So if you ever do need to wear a pair of skis, you might need to remind yourself, maybe Google it, YouTube, or potentially someone might need to help you. Someone might need to show you how to do it. That's where we lean on people that are a little bit further along, that have built a habit. A ski instructor is putting their skis on all the time. They know exactly how to do it. So I think when you put on this garment of praise, when you ready your heart for connection, when you find a posture of your body to offer your body, your mind, your heart, your soul as a sacrifice, you surrender all your thoughts, all your to-do, all the things you didn't get to do, all the things that went wrong leading up to 10:30. It's incredible how long the morning is until 10:30. When you put on that garment of praise, you're in true connection with God. And the more you do it, the more you do that exercise of sacrifice to find God, the easier it gets, just like putting on a coat or a jumper. You don't have to think about it. And then just to extend the analogy a little bit further is I've been learning a little bit about dopamine dressing, which is this very much pseudoscience about how you can induce happiness or dopamine, which is the feel-good hormone, by dressing in with colorful clothes and things that are comfortable, pattern, colors, and how it can really just make you lift your mood and lift the mood of people around you. And I just love it if, when we do that, and if we are entering God's presence with this sense of just putting on a garment of praise, wouldn't it be lovely if that garment of praise was colorful, appealing to the eye, not only lifting our mood, because we know, of course, God meets every need. That will include whatever needs are in our soul that will be lifted. Forget dopamine, this is true joy we're talking about. But wouldn't it be great if that just extended to everyone around us, and if someone is worshiping, that just became contagious and infectious and lifted everyone else's spirit as well. In the verse that we just read from Isaiah, the solution to a heavy heart, a desolate heart, is praise. But it requires that intention. It requires an action to put on a garment. And sometimes to put on something, you have to take something off first. I mean, you can go layers, but you just get hot. So let's just, for the purpose of this, you have to take something off to put something on, to put the garment of praise. It is the antidote to depression, to a desolate heart, the verse says, a heavy heart. And it requires for us to make an intention, take something off, give something away, sacrifice something of ourselves. And it isn't just something, it's everything, so that we can truly connect. And I'd love to invite Deborah, Faye, and Naomi back to lead us in a bit of time, a response, a time where we can, maybe some of this has made some sense to you in your spirit. I hope in your spirit sometimes it needs to do the journey to the head, heart, spirit first. That's how it works for me. And for God to just really drop that holy way, I guess, that I've had about how we can truly connect with Him, and maybe this can help. And there's a couple of reflections on the screen as well about some questions that might be helpful to look and ponder as you are entering into another time of musical worship. This is what God was asking me. Is God seated in the highest place, in the highest seat in your heart? Is that order right? What needs to be sacrificed in order to fully connect with God? And what do you need to take off in order to wear His garment of praise? And I'm really aware that there can be so many distractions, but I don't believe that this is about physical distractions, because my son is the loudest there is. So I don't believe it's as simple as that. God is asking. It's distractions of the heart or the mind that can get in the way of that deep and true connection that He longs for, because He wants to love us so deeply, and He doesn't want us to miss it. And we will miss it if we didn't give our full self. Yeah, so I'll hand over to Deborah, and we'll just start to see what this has felt true in your heart. Really ask yourself, God, if I got you the highest place, please, God, help us. This is not easy. It's not easy. Please, God, help us to identify what's in the way and help us figure out how to take it off, because it's not straightforward. We're full of things. The world just bombards us with things. It's not easy to empty your mind and free your mind. I remember his name, but the guy that does the silent meditation said that sometimes it's the holy thoughts that most distract him. God, really, really help us. Thank you, Jesus. And God, I thank you so much that you've made it accessible. That you've given us things like Sunday morning, a time to practice together with our family to show us, hey, this is how much I want to love you. This is how well I can love you. If you give me your heart. You're entitled to it, God. You can have all of it. I know you want to repeat all of it. Thank you, God.